What's going on, my peoples? It's your boy Remo, aka Mr. Rich Threads, back at you with another one. Let's talk fashion, powered by the JBT Network. First off, let me start off by saying thank you for all of the feedback. Thank you for the engagements. Thank you for the participation in the comments. I'm enjoying the journey, man. Real talk. Like I'm really appreciating it, and it's crazy to really talk your passion and then bring it in a whole new light. So I just want to thank y'all. I humbly appreciate y'all. But let's get right into it. This week we're gonna talk about something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and it's a sneaker game. Basically, I'm a kid from the 80s, grew up in the 90s, learned my footing in the 2000s, and I'm currently still, putting on that drip. But I just want to say the sneaker game was synonymous in my book because of the era that I came in. I ain't gonna argue back and forth with you neither about it. The 90s is the golden era for the footwear game, and we had the most signature sneakers. It was a time that you just had to live, like the capsule time in that world. It was just different. Like it wasn't the time where like you call them tennis sneakers where they were $69, $70. Like I didn't grow up in that, but I came in the era when we had Penny Hardaway, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders. We had it all. Hakeem Olajuwon had sneakers, Shaq, Allen Iverson. Like the list could go on, but it was a time in the era where you could walk in a sneaker store and get confused and not know what you wanted to wear, what you wanted to buy, the time of the year to buy your shoes. It ain't even just sneakers, Timberlands, Wallabies. Like it was just a time to live. Some of the old heads wore they more Gators. It was just a time that you have to be a part of. But I'm trying to bring it to light with y'all and let y'all know that feeling that was going on in that era. When you walk in the store and you said, let me get that, let me get that, let me get that. And everything was available. It's crazy to think that, but you could go no wrong. There's no way to pick the wrong way because everything was available and everything was fly. Everything was tasteful. And oh man, I'm just overwhelmed by just even thinking about this and the joy that, it brought to my era because it just wasn't about high end. High end was just like for the big dogs, street boys, dope boys, whatever you want to call them. But the Nike athletes, just a different field, man. And I just want to highlight the difference of now and then and giving y'all synapses of my timeline. So there was a time where Michael Jordan was the head athlete for Nike. Everything that went on throughout Nike went through Michael Jordan. But then it started becoming a time where you've seen the Penny Hardaways come, Grant Hills, Shaqs, AI. And these people were cemented in the culture. Rappers was messing with them. To the point where we started seeing sneakers become synonymous in the TV game by Martin, by Will Smith, by the Wayans brothers. Like it just came around in full circles, and like the time and era was just so dope. I don't think that these kids will really understand it because they grew up now where you got certain releases, and the only time that you get them is through a sneakers app. Imagine that. Back in the day, you used to be able to leave your house, say, I'm going shopping. But it's not just for footwear. You had to go get a whole fit. But the culture, you couldn't escape it. It was on TV. It was in movies. Like, it was just a crazy time in the world where everybody enjoyed being outside and everybody enjoyed putting together fits. When you say fits, it's not like all right, let me slow down. So today's time is more for the Instagrammable moment. But back then it was, I'm coming outside to put on a show. The show came with the cars. The cars came with the money. The money came with the girls. Like all of this thing was intertwined with one another. And it was a time to be alive. I would like to focus on just let's say the 96 to 2000 era. We've seen the evolution of $125 sneakers to $200 phone positive. And that time it was like, oh, unheard of. But the materials changed. the feeling of the size of the sneaker changed, and then the targeted athletes changed in the way they dressed, and they aligned themselves with hip hop artists. We can even go back when Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson went hand in hand. They were on commercials together. Comedians was rocking with athletes. We had Penny Hardaway with Chris Rock. Michael Jordan was with Spike Lee. We even had Charles Barkley and who was it? Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen in commercials. Everybody was known for something amazing during that time. And I think I want to call it the golden era. They had something called East Bay. Yeah, I know. I might sound like a dinosaur right now, but East Bay was like a catalog where you could look inside of a magazine. Let's say you had Sports Illustrated, but it was full of sneakers, and you could just choose which ones you wanted. You sign off on it, you pick your pick, you send a money order or a check, put it in the mail, and place your order, and bang, they came to that house. There was no other feeling than getting fresh and having a new pair of sneakers at your doorstep. But that time and era was different because it was no lines. It was no waiting down, sitting up, sleeping for the nights. It was no bots. It was none of that. It was really the culture that built the streetwear game. And in the streetwear game, we say, what streetwear back then? It was high end. It was high end clothes that we made our style, whether it be Guess, whether it be Calvin Klein, whether it be Polo. Well, Polo's still around today, but the way you see it on the runway isn't the way that we put it on. We put it on that streetwear fashion style. You know, you might have had a jumper. You might tuck a shirt in and leave one strap off. It was just a crazy time. And then during that time, you know, you had NWA, all black, Raiders hats, but Raiders hats always went with black sneakers. Like it was just a time, man. Even when you these guys got vilified for wearing all black sneakers, all black socks. But guess what? Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, they put that on the court, and they made sure that they showed the neighborhoods that they were from and how they wanted to be presented and how they wanted to be viewed by the general public. So why not? I'm telling y'all right now, do the research. I'm gonna drop some videos so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The time of the era was called the Attitude Era. NBA players, they weren't wearing suits anymore. They were wearing big baggy clothes. But where they was getting that from? The streetwear. They was getting that from the rappers, whether it be Cam'ron, whether it be Fabulous. Like, it was just a time that I really, really can't tell you should have been a part of. But you should have been a part of it because you're never going to see it come back. Because the way that things are now is a little bit different. The feel is different. The drops are different. And the impact can't be relived. So I just want to say for a fact, I wish I was part of this era, man. So dope, so amazing. Shout out to the 90s, man. So now, when it comes to fashion, what is fashion to you? Fashion has no definition of one style, one way, one look. Fashion is kind of like introducing yourself without words. Who are you as a person? What's your personality? Where you from? What's your look? These are all unique things built by fashion. And, you know, there's no uniform way. I think every neighborhood and every area in the country has something that's synonymous for what that region is known for. Back in the day, New York City was big on Timberlands, Avirex jackets, whether you from, and it's crazy because Uptown had a little bit a different style. They wore something called Biggies, or they wore Wazams. Down in Brooklyn, we wore North Face jackets or Avirexes or Pele's. That was kind of like a Harlem thing. You go down and down south, they were known for Reeboks. Reeboks was the big thing down south for whatever reason. They never really hit the East Coast like that, but that was that region's footwear. The the West Coast with the Chuck Taylors. Like the difference in fashion today than back then, because of the internet, it kind of changed regional fashion because everything is accessible to everybody. But with the engagement that I had, shout out to everybody that tapped in on my Instagram. Is Rich Threads, RICHE_threads. I kind of gave a lot of looks, and I asked people to rate the looks. So I want to go over two looks that got a lot of attention. One was by a female. So she wore a color kind of mohair, big pants, and some nice shoes. A lot of the females and males tapped in and they gave her a 10 out of 10. And they said in that look, like she hit every mark. And why is that? Because she looked like she was just enjoying fashion. And it's hard for most people to say that they enjoy fashion without trying to impress everybody. And they're not really trying to do much for themselves. But this young female, I don't know her, but she looked like she enjoyed every moment of what she had on. And for me, what I see, 10 out of 10. It hit every mark. It's modern, it's colorful, it's playful, and it's very fashionable. So salute to that young lady. If you know her, tag her. If you could, tell her to hit me up. Maybe we could feature on the show. And yeah, 10 out of 10. And then there was another fit. Yeah, Jordan Clarkson. A lot of people wasn't really feeling this fit, man. I was getting -0, zeros, -1, 1. What is this? This shouldn't even be on him. But once again, what you must understand, that fashion is an expression. Fashion is a risk. People take risks who have confidence. Me personally, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't try this fit. 9 out of 10 times, I wouldn't. It's not a go-to. It's not my everyday look. But if I had to do something different, if I was in a different region, if I had to go to a fashion show or someplace where I had to make a fashion statement, I don't think I would rule this outfit out. And to most people, it's like, what? What did he say? Does he have a kilt on as a suit? Yeah, it's different. It's a risk. It's a challenge to most people, but I wouldn't rule it out. So I think people should just enjoy the moment of what fashion is. Take your time with it. And if it's not for you, 100%, don't indulge in it. But if you feel as though you're confident enough and you could pull it off, man, why not try it? Until next week, holla at me. Shout out to my guys over there at JBT Network. Let's talk fashion. Mr. Rich Threads. And I'm out of here. Bang.